Welcome everyone to the 6th round of the 2018 SCRS Ferrari GT3 Challenge. I'm Kyle Heyer here with Finian Dacuna. Finian, welcome back again. The night has fallen here in Motegi, Japan, at the Twin Ring Motegi. We have, looks like 15 entries or so tonight for this one. Both races will be run under the cover of darkness. What are your expectations for this evening?
I think with the smaller field, I think it'll definitely be a less chaotic race as we've seen in the past. Because typically, when you have more cars, it's going to be a little more hectic. Also, Motegi's layout is kind of, I guess, open in a way. The cars don't get like funneled into tight turns as we've seen in last week at the Nürburgring in that arena section, or Bathurst in the mountain section. So we should have pretty relatively clean racing, I think.
Relatively clean racing, but Finian, darkness is always a tricky thing to work with. Now, there's a little bit of lighting here in Motegi, but tell me about some of the troubles of driving in the dark.
Well, definitely the biggest problem is seeing where your apexes are. And yeah, you can generally see where the corner is, but at a track where you're going at such a high rate of speed, trying to pick out your corners is not something you want to do at 100 miles an hour. So you gotta really know the track like the back of your hand and hit your corners the best way you can. All
right, Finian, so we have about 9 minutes left in qualifying. For those watching on YouTube later, we'll have the start times for both Race 1 and Race 2 in the description, along with point standings and links to our sponsor, Penguin RC Simulation. So we got 9 minutes remaining in this. We're just going to take a look at some of the qualifiers right now. Steve Ficacci currently holding pole, the 148.254. So he is currently running pole in that number 00. And Finian, last week at the Nürburgring, we had what we expected. I think Race 1 went pretty calm, and Race 2 was kind of wild, just like Watkins Glen was, and some other races that we've seen. Do you think that tonight is going to be much of the same?
I think it'll be hectic, but not in a more enduro way, or not really. Enduro is not the right word. In a more like hectic way that we've been seeing, cars getting in accidents and what have you. I think it'll be hectic in that there's going to be a lot of passing. A lot of the guys that were faster in Race 1 who finished up front, they're going to just be bolting through the field. But there's going to be more passing and I think less crashes.
All right, now see Justin Richardson, the #1 positive sim racing machine, jumped to pole with a 147.679. So that's a really good lap for Justin. Justin, of course, right now we get the point standings here. We'll pull them up on the screen shortly. And there's your, looks like your top 11. And Justin Richardson has a pretty good-sized lead over some of these other drivers here. So, Finian, Richardson has just been killing it, and I expect to see much of the same, at least for Race 1 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rare when we don't see him qualify on the pole. So, I actually wonder if he hasn't qualified on the pole yet. I'm trying to think back. I don't know if we've seen him not make the pole. But, yeah, he's just really showed dominance. He only had that hiccup last week in Race 2 where he got in that lap 1 crash and finished in last place. Mimi and Crum also were able to catch up in points on him. So as long as he can keep finishing the races, and I would say probably top 5 at least, I think he's a pretty good shot at the championship.
I'd say that's true. Another driver who's had a couple good weeks is Christian Osten, the 157, who we're taking a look at now, currently qualified 6th. Jonathan DeCoucher is going to jump up to P3, and Drew Lidke back to his typical pace up in 4th, and Elliot Mimi in the #9 in 5th.
Yeah. Also, I really want to point out Steve Ficacci. Last week was his first ever start in this series, and he's currently 2nd on the grid. So he's come out of almost nowhere and shown some great pace. I almost wish he kind of came in a little bit earlier in the season as far as points are concerned. But he's definitely giving the pro guys a run for their money. He's just come in and shown some pretty solid pace.
Absolutely, he's definitely surprised us. But I will say that a lot of the drivers here that we were expecting to started off, I would say, start off the season a little bit slower. But George D'Angelo leading the AM point standings right now for the AM class, and he's had a phenomenal last few weeks. The pace has really picked up.
Yeah, definitely, he's done great, but I think Lidke's trying to spoil that for him as he's in 4th place, and honestly, I was surprised that he made it into 4th place, because usually you expect the AM guys to be starting around 6th on back, so they're going to move up an extra 2 spots, especially on guys like Mimi and Crum, who we've seen also like pretty much top 3 guys. It's amazing to see him have that much speed.
Vinny, one of the things I love about night racing is watching those brake rotors glow, and we'll see as with the 21 of Lidkey, look at those brake rotors glowing heading down into the braking zone. That's one of my favorite things about night racing. The LED strips above the windshield and the windows, the brake rotors glowing and the headlights flashing. It's just a fantastic spectacle for all those watching this race. So with 5 minutes remaining left in this one, after race 1, we'll go over the highlights from the Nürburgring last week. Finian, last week at the Nürburgring, that second race, a lot of action, a big first lap incident that took out a lot of cars.
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of amazing in a way that we missed it. We were too busy covering the battle up in the front. But yeah, guys, the guys we were just talking about, D'Angelo and Richardson, really suffered in that crash. And took those two guys who were, I believe, leading their respective standings through something at them. So they're gonna have to recover a bit from last week. Richardson not so much, but D'Angelo's crash really spiced up the AM standings.
Absolutely, and we'll have all that in the highlights reel after race 1 during our commercial break. We want to just take a quick reminder to remind you to click on that link in the description for Penguin RC Simulation. Thank you to Brian for sponsoring this series and this broadcast. Penguin RC Simulation offers premium sim racing hardware, paddle shifters, and wheel mounting hardware. So check out that Penguin RC Simulation website. That link is in the description. Looks like Justin Richardson is holding that pole. About a half-second lead over Steve Ficacci in the 0-0. Those positive sim racing machines always quick up front. Another thing is Jonathan DeCouger mentioned earlier. Let's see if he's still on the racetrack. Doesn't look like he is, but he has a new paint scheme, so we have to put a camera on that later so we can show you that.
Oh, he's only got the Canadian maple leaves?
Yeah, maple leaves are gone, from my understanding, so we'll have to take a look at that later. Mimi's out on track right now. Whoa, little sideways.
Oh, he's got a new paint scheme. He's got white on the car.
Yep, and he's going to reset to the pits after a little bit of a spin there. But, yeah, new paint for Elliott Mimi and new paint for DeCouger, and lots of new fresh paint on a lot of these cars this evening.
Yeah, that car looks amazing at nighttime. That white looks really good.
And complemented by the green LED strips, which I love the LEDs on these cars. They look so cool.
They really need to have those LEDs on more cars.
I think so, too. Well, with 3 minutes remaining, I can't tell you I wasn't predicting this top 3 thing.
No, I mean, I wasn't. I know Ficacci showed some great pace last week, but I expect him to be, like 4th, 5th. But 2nd, that's honestly amazing to me. So he's definitely throwing a wrench into the works. And he should definitely mix up the field here when we go green.
One thing that we'd like to mention is that hopefully for race 2, we'll have a helmet cam on board for the driver of Jared Jewell. So we have that, it's a VR onboard camera, which is really, really cool. We were playing with it earlier. So hopefully he's there for race 2. Don't see him in the field for this first race. Something must have come up. But we have that on standby, and hopefully that'll be around, because that was a really cool angle.
Yeah, honestly, it looks almost exactly how it is in real life. Other than the fact that the camera does have with the screen has a lower resolution, because to run it at full resolution, you need an ungodly PC to run it at full resolution. So a little pixelated, but it does look almost exactly like how you see helmet cams in real life.
It's a pretty cool angle, and we really hope we can bring that to you later. 2 minutes remaining in qualifying. Richardson still on the pole for 147.679. Steve Ficacci, Jonathan DeCouger, Drew Lidkey, and Elliott Mimi rounding out your top 5. Christian Ost, Kurt Crum, George D'Angelo, Ryan Floyd, and Brian Sohn your top 10. 14 cars are currently entered in the race. 15 minutes and 20 minutes, respectively, race 1 and race 2. So we're looking forward to getting this one underway. And Finny, in this championship, we are starting to get towards the end.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing because it only just started. So it's crazy to believe that I believe this is round 6.
Round 6, yep.
Yeah, so we are on the final stretch for these guys. So, this is where you got to start making moves. You really got to pace yourself and get finishes. Finishing is honestly, I would say, probably the biggest key we've seen in this championship. A lot of guys getting caught up in race 2 wrecks. So, really surviving to the end is the key.
A lot of drivers were talking this week about how tricky Motegi is as a racetrack. Maybe not technical, but it definitely does throw you off. It's a very flat course. Sometimes it's hard to spot your apexes. And this course is new to a lot of drivers this week, Penny.
Yeah, it's definitely new to me when I first ran it. Trying to figure out how to set up corners because as you can see, a lot of the time you're just coming off of a corner when you have to start getting ready for the next corner. It's not a lot of straightaway distance between these corners, so trying to get a flow in the middle part of the track is probably extremely vital to the race today. So, and also making those corners while racing around other cars, it's a whole different story. So it'll definitely be cool to see how these guys handle it.
Well, we only have 20 seconds remaining, so I think we're going to give the pole to the number 1 of Justin Richardson. And you can see your starting order on the left-hand side of the screen. We will get underway shortly for race number 1. Again, the exact start time for race number 1 will be in the description of the video after this broadcast goes up. It will be a rolling start for race number 1. $14 drivers entered in this one. So kind of the small field size. Vinny, do you think the small field size is going to change the racing?
Definitely. I think with less cars, you generally have less chaos, less stuff going on. So I think we'll see a cleaner race than we have seen in the past.
I also think I'm going to throw out a prediction right here that Richardson is going to come flying from the back in race 2, as long as he finishes up front in race 1. With only 14 or 13 other cars to get through, I think his progress will be much quicker than it has been the past few weeks with larger fields.
I would say that too, although I would say this is kind of a difficult track to pass at, from my experience at least, because the way there's not a lot of real passing zones. The biggest one is the straightaway they're actually on. It's a giant straightaway leading into a tight right-hander. So the middle section of the track is really hard to pass because that part of the track is pretty much designated for just trying to navigate through, not really making attempts at passing. So it'll definitely be cool to see him charging up through the field and see his progress.
All right, we got all the cars on the grid. The Rough RT12R pace car will start moving shortly. We'll get this one underway. Should be about 9 laps. That's the prediction from our telemetry, so we'll see if that holds true here as they roll off and begin their pace lap. 14 Ferrari GT3 machines. The 488. These cars sound great, they look great, and especially at night with those all those endurance lights, they sure look really good for you.
Yeah, I was just looking at Lidke. Looks like he's warming up his tires by brake checking. Host almost got into him.
Gotta watch out for that. We'll try to take you up in a chopper cam or a blimp cam for the turn number 1. That should be a pretty good angle to check out all the action as they fan out along the front straight. As we head to the green flag, Richardson will lead them down, and green flag is in the air. 15 minutes here in Motegi. Down towards turn 1. This is a hard braking zone. Lots of action in the middle of the field. And oh, it looks like we got some contact near the back. Andrew Mickey got a load of front bumper from somebody back there. And Mickey is off the course, and maybe McPhail is the one that got into him. Easy to get in trouble early on with lots of cars. There's some cones flying off into the grass. But Richardson holds that lead. Behind him, DeCouger moves up to 2nd. Fikachi moves down to 3rd. Elliott Meany 4th, and Lidke 5th. Looks like Kurt Crumb's going to pop out on Lidke, but he's going to fall back in line. Oh, who's that off? That's
Meany.
Elliott Meany off the course in the dirt. He's going to get it back going. No harm, no foul. Oh, still sliding a little bit. Got to get back on the pavement.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for him losing all his positions. He might have just gotten stacked up in that heavy braking zone.
Yeah, though there's a lot of action behind him. Lidke and Crum and Ost and D'Angelo and Florida can throw a blanket over 5 or 6 of them at the time. 13 minutes remaining in this one. We're only about a half a lap in.
Yeah, Lidke having trouble like finding his footing. He's dropped back already on the start. Hopefully he can get it going again.
D'Angelo moves up right under the rear bumper at 157 to Christian Ost. Down the back straightaway they go. This is a long downhill straightaway into a very sharp, hard braking zone. So these brakes will be working very hard to slow them down, get them on the binders and head them down towards the end of the lap. Richardson is out to a early lead of about 2 seconds over the 39 of DeCruiser for TeamTrackSculptures.com. Working their way through the final chicane, back out onto the front straight. Everyone orderly for the time being. So early contact with potentially Mickey and McPhail, but everyone seems to be sorted out. And single file now.
Yeah. After the first few corners, a little hairy here and there, but yeah, everybody's trying to get in groove now and get ready for the next 8 laps of the race.
Lots of cones flying as these drivers are trying to use every inch of the race course. Whoop, got looks like Florida a little wide there on the exit of that corner, up and over the curbing. Yeah, but the cones flying here. Looks, you see Brian Sohn looking to the inside of the 74. But as you try to maximize the corner entries, there's cones here for alternate layouts of the racetrack, and they just go flying in the air as these drivers take advantage of all that room.
Yeah, I think the track workers are going to get tired of replacing them by the end of the race.
Probably. See Lidke holding serve in the 5th position right behind Kurt Crum. DeCruiser moved up to 2nd on that initial start from 3rd, so he's back about 2.5 seconds from the one of Justin Richardson.
I was actually wondering where DeCruiser was. I didn't realize he has the same paint scheme as Fakashi.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that paint scheme right now. That for the 39 of Jonathan DeCruiser. Brand new yellow and black paint for TeamTrackSculptures.com. What a nice looking paint scheme that is.
Yeah, great job whoever painted that car. It looks amazing with a nice Canadian flag on the front. And the sister car Fakashi looks also pretty amazing. So these two guys running 2nd and 3rd, so a great start for these guys.
Yeah, yellow and gray is a good color combo, and yeah, I think Richardson's loving this right now too.
Whoa, we got a car in the back.
Whoa, we got someone spinning. Looks like Dan Garber in the 33. He's going to go around. We'll take a look at that replay for you if we can. All right, we're taking a look at the replay for the 33 of Dan Garber. Lost it, looks like going on to the front straightaway. So here's working his way through the final chicane, just gets a little bit wide up onto the grass. Yep, just try to put the power down to the grass. Oh, contact hard with the inside wall.
Yeah, just try to floor it on the grass. It's never a good thing to do. So he just went up and around, and hopefully the car isn't too damaged.
Looks pretty bad. I think he's missing his hood there. So
okay, I guess a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, so early trouble for Dan Garbo. At least he can make it up in race 2. But yeah, that's one thing you got to worry about. I was test driving this track earlier, Finian. One thing that really stood out to me was the curbs here are kind of thin.
Oh, we got Ost.
Ost is around.
Oh, that is really unfortunate for him.
He sent it for a loop.
Waiting for her to pass. Good job.
All right, he's going to get it going in the right direction. But yeah, so as I was saying, though, the curbing is quite narrow here. And if you get the tires up and over it, and you try to put the power down in the grass, your tires are going to spin and you're going to spin it out. So that might have been what happened to Ost as well. But the 33 of Garber and the 157 of Ost, early victims to that. There you see Andrew Mickey working in the 867 of McPhail.
And yet, in addition to that, you really got to know the limits of the track here. Otherwise, the track will bite you back.
Yeah, you can't really use any runoff there because there isn't really a whole lot of it here. I can't really think of any corner that has any kind of pavement runoff here, unlike the last two tracks that we were at, the Nürburgring and Watkins Glen.
Yeah, those two tracks are more forgiving in nature, but this track, there's like almost no runoff besides the curving. That's pretty much all you got other than the pavement on the track. So any more than that, and you're asking for a bit too much.
You see Plord working over George D'Angelo, number 15. George D'Angelo for the ACRL mod team. Plord working him over in the Team TeamTrackSculptures.com. That's a mouthful and a half. Looks like we got about a little over 8 minutes remaining in this one, so not quite halfway through, but we're getting there. And the 74 is closing in. That 15 again, run it a little bit wide. You got to watch that runoff, or the lack of it, rather. And it is dark here.
Yeah, a lot of these corners just do not have any track lighting at all. It's kind of similar to Sebring in a lot of its corners. There's pretty much like a shroud of darkness in, especially this corner up ahead. But unlike Sebring, there's no reflectors on the track to really indicate where the apex of the corner is or where the edges of the track are. So you really got to figure it out for yourself and make sure you point the car in the right direction.
That's a good point here as we see the 74 continuing to work over the 15 and get really close on the quarter panel out of the hairpin there, heading down the long back straight. Maybe he'll duck in, get a little bit of draft, but Ryan Plord on the move.
Yeah, he's been just working on D'Angelo this entire lap. We'll see him make a move on the inside.
Oh, he's going to send it down to the inside hard on the brakes. Brake rotor's glowing to the inside of 15 of D'Angelo. Brian Sohn looking there to take advantage of that situation, but he's not going to be able to complete it this time by. You're not missing anything up front. Richardson, DeCoucher, Fakashi, your top 3. Kurt Crum and Drew Littke running out your top 5. So not missing any action up front for the time being. This is the best battle on the racetrack. Brian Sohn, of course, driving for Penguin RC Simulations and also the sponsor for these events and the broadcast. So thank you to Brian. Currently, Brian is running 8th right now, so good run for him. But he, in the championship battle, he does have drivers in front of him that he is battling, like George D'Angelo and Drew Littke.
And speaking of Littke, if Littke keeps it up, he'll get the AM win here ahead of these next 3 guys who are 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the AM running at the moment.
And these guys are about 5 seconds behind Littke, so they got some work to do if they want to catch him for the AM class win. The top 4 are all Pro Series drivers.
Oh, and the grass bites again.
Oh, and the round goes to 74 of Ryan Plord. Yep, that's what you got to keep in mind here as he pulls out kind of in front of McPhail there, but it looks like everyone's going to be all figured out. But yeah, that's one thing we're talking about, Finian, is you got to respect the track limits here because there's no giving back here. It's all take.
Quick update on Mimi. He's moved up a few places after spinning on the first lap. So he's worked back up to 8th. And yeah, same thing that happened to him last week. He got into an incident last week, but that started him towards the front of the grid ahead of his rivals, so he was able to take the race 2 win. So this may or may not work out in his favor in the second race. So, but good recovery from him.
Yeah, the only thing I'd worry about with the strategy of finishing, midfield in race 1 and trying to move up in race 2 is that you're going to trade off points with the guys you're battling. When Richardson's out front, he's going to gain all those points for race number 1, and maybe he won't get as many points in race number 2. But if you don't get max points in race 1, you're not going to be up there battling with them. So you really have to kind of weigh your options here. Obviously, Elliott didn't really give himself a lot after he spun out, but good recovery for him, and hopefully he can take advantage of that midfield starting position for race number 2. 5.5 minutes remaining in this one. Dan Garber has retired, probably most likely with race damage. That was a pretty hard impact with that concrete wall in the front straightaway. So Garber is out. I heard something awful in my headphones. I don't know if that was a splitter hitting the ground or something, but
it sounded like someone was like pounding the throttle trying to go. It's like the engine was dying.
It did not sound very good, but I think everybody's okay. Liam Park in the 14, having a pretty decent run today. He's kind of had off and on luck this season. That's his car. That's the I don't know what's going on with that.
Sounds like a train engine.
It sounds like I don't know what's going on. It sounds like there's a forge or something inside his car, like a blacksmith. I think that's just got to be a sound glitch from iRacing. I don't think that's supposed to be happening, but well, I hope it's not in the engine because that Ferrari V8 will be in trouble if it keeps making that sound.
All right.
Always a good laugh up here when something doesn't go quite right.
Let's catch up with our leaders.
Justin Richardson in the number 1 positive sim racing Ferrari. 4.5 second lead over the 39 of DeCoucher. There's DeCoucher in the number 39. And in terms of lap times in the competition for the Penguin RC Simulation Fastest Lap Award, not even close. 0.6 of a second from Richardson back to DeCoucher, who has the no, not quite the second fastest time, but 0.3 to Fakachi, who has a 148.297. So 0.3 of a second the gap between Richardson and Fakachi for the fastest lap award. Of course, that's awarded at the end of each of these races, so still some time for someone to put in a good lap. Another cone goes flying off the bumper of Kurt Crum, sending that one to meet the Tesla in space.
Yeah, a lot of these guys seem to be pretty spread out at this point. So in the closing stages of this race, so It's really going to be, I keep saying it, but it's really going to be interesting to see all these guys charging up to the front of the field. I am still interested in seeing how Fakashi handles it. I said that last week, and he got involved in that first wreck in the second race, so we never got to see him work through traffic. But I want to keep an eye on him, because if he's about pretty much the second fastest driver on the track right now, track position aside. So seeing him start to work through all the not lap traffic, the slower traffic ahead of him next race will be one to watch.
Yeah, Fakashi coming out boiling hot after that first race at the Nürburgring, and I really expect him to compete for the win for the remainder of the season. So Fakashi off to a good start. Kurt Krum also in the number 7, just fantastic. We got to put a spotlight on him for a second. He has had some great races so far, and besides the one of Justin Richardson, I think Krum has probably been the most competitive of these other drivers.
Yeah, actually, last week he did finish second in both of the races. So consistency is definitely key, and that's why we find him second in the point standings right now.
All right, we're working 2 to go right now. It's 9 laps predicted here by our telemetry. We're on lap 8, as Krum is getting closer and closer to the 0-0 Fakashi.
Yeah, I definitely think he wants to get that 3rd place before this race is over.
Every point counts as Kurt Krum is closing that gap. It's down to about a half a second. And this is going to be your closest battle for the time being. Fakashi runs... Ooh, that was almost went a little bit wide there. But he's going to maintain that spot for now. When we get around to the line again, it'll be 1 lap to go. Well, yep. I really love that paint scheme on the 0-0 and the 39. That's just a classy looking paint scheme with the yellow and gray.
Yeah, and there's currently a yellow and a black car trying to look for an opening. And Krum is really trying to just send the car into the corner and just trying to maximize as much speed as he can going in, and is braking extremely late. And it seems to be paying off. He's worked up to the back bumper for Fakashi, so we'll see if he can draft up on this next straightaway and make a move.
Yeah, the gap is about a half a second. Krum desperately trying to get to the rear bumper. Every point matters, and Krum is trying to take advantage of that situation. 3.5 tenths is the gap. Out front, Richardson still holding a very commanding 5-second lead over the 39 of Kuzer. Behind them, Fakashi, Krum, Lidke, D'Angelo, Sohn, Meany, Park, Plord, McPhail, Ost, Mickey, and Garber is your running order at this time. Working their way to the final chicane. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. It's the last lap for Richardson. That gap has actually come down just a little bit, down to 4.5 seconds. Although they pretty much matched each other's lap times the last time around, and I don't expect anything up there to change. But Fakashi, wow, look at Krum running a little wide.
Yeah, and that may or may not be all she wrote, but yeah, he's definitely trying to get as close as he can to Fakashi. But passing him is going to be another story here.
Yeah.
He might have just run out of time.
Yeah, Krum really kicked that rear end out over the sand and threw some dirt flying. So Krum definitely not taking it easy here. He's really trying hard to get that last spot.
Yeah, I will say good save on him, though, not getting the car tail happy. He managed to set the car straight again, and he's got to run.
And that's easier said than done, as we've seen the grass claim many lives this evening. Well, I'd say many. Probably 3 or 4 drivers bit the dust with a little bit of grass. So, but don't speak too soon. Looks like Krum is right on the rear bumper of the 0-0. Fakashi going to look out, go for a dive, and he's going to complete that pass. What a great pass by the 7.
Fakashi with the over and the under. He's going to have a massive run down the straightaway. Krum's going to take the defensive line on the inside.
Krum's going to go defensive, going down the back straightaway, and looks like Fakashi's going to look to the outside, but that's a hard move to make, Finian. You're really going to have to outbrake him there as they go about even into the corner. Looks like Krum's going to hold on to that spot, but Fakashi's going to keep his nose in there heading to the final chicane.
He wants it, and nope, he's going to let him.
Oh, Krum ran a little bit wide, but out front, Justin Richardson takes home victory for race number 1 here at Motegi. Jonathan DeCouger is going to run home in second. Kurt Krum is going to hold on to that 3rd spot. What a battle between those drivers. It's actually... oh, okay. It took a second to update, but it was showing Fakashi in 3rd spot. But Fakashi takes home 4th, Lidke in 5th. And D'Angelo is going to run home in 6th place. Good for him. And while Brian Sohn and Elliot Mimi finished, Lidke is your AM winner from this race, so congratulations to Drew for that. Liam Park, Ryan Plurd, Ryan McPhail, Christian Ost. Looks like 8th through 12th, and Mickey is going to bring it home, rounding the final corner. A troubled race for him with early contact, but he's going to bring it home, and we'll start up front for race number 2. All right, we're going to quickly jump to break. We're going to grab your winners, Justin Richardson, and hopefully we can grab a hold of Drew Lidke. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back to the 2018 Ferrari GT3 Challenge. We're here with your race number 1 winner, Justin Richardson. Justin, another dominating performance, not even close. You took home the Penguin RC Simulation Fastest Lap Award. Absolute domination so far in race number 1 for most of the season. And we were talking to you over the break that you didn't even have an X. So what's the key to consistency here? And again, congratulations.
Thank you. Key to consistency. I don't. I used to run a lot of practice, and I don't think it's any secret that I've had a lot of coaching with the team I've joined last year to get up to what they wanted me to be as a pro status. So I kind of learned that when I go to a track, if I haven't driven it for a while, get to feel for the car, go corner by corner, and concentrate on each corner, find out what point I brake at. If that doesn't work, back it up or move it forward a couple of meters, I guess you can say. And I kind of go like that corner by corner, and it takes me about 2 to 3 laps. And after that, I kind of can get at a peak point, and I then plateau. I kind of like find my speed pretty quickly, and then I flatline, I guess you can say.
Well, no flatlining for our heart race there in that first race. There's a lot of action going on behind you, but pretty easy sailing for you in race number 1. But of course, we invert the field for race 2. And are there any special challenges to starting a second race at night behind a full field?
I think, as you can see from my recent race 2s, it's a challenge for me to even go through the first lap. It sucks because there's people. I end up in a bad spot, and there ends up being a lot of spins of some sort. And it really, what annoys me the most is something that takes me out, not of my own doing, and it's out of my hands. I know I can't control, and I shouldn't be mad, but it really frustrates me. If it's my fault, I can let it go and not have any problem because I know I did it. But if a guy hits me or he's in the middle of the track and I have nowhere to go and I hit him, it just frustrates me. I think at night, for me, that's pretty good visibility around here. It's not too dark like Sebring, but I'm going to do my best. And I think I should let you guys know now that you will not see me next week. So you guys will have a new race 1 winner for sure.
Well,
I'll be away on business, but I'll be back the following week. But let's see how race 2 goes.
Well, there's always a chance that you're so far ahead that you win next week's race already. So we'll keep an eye on the relative. Thanks for talking with us. We'll jump to break and be back hopefully with your AM winner, Drew Lidke. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, and we're back once again with your AM class winner, Drew Lidke. Drew, a very consistent race for you. You did a great job holding off those guys behind you that were having quite a heck of a battle. Points battle's looking pretty interesting, and you've had a couple really good weeks and a couple interesting weeks. So what's your goal looking forward and your goal for race number 2?
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. I was actually kind of disappointed. My practice times the last couple of nights in the official practices, I've been consistently faster, and I don't know, maybe it's nerves or worried about 1Xs or something tonight, but couldn't find the regular pace, but still able to, I guess, hold on to first in the AM. Yeah, the season so far has been kind of crazy. I had to miss the Watkins Glen because unfortunately or fortunately I was attending the Sebring 12-hour, and unfortunately I'm going to be away next week on business, so I'm going to miss the next 2 races. So even with the 4 drops, I don't think I really have a chance because all 4 of my drops will be 0 points. So that being said, my focus the next however many races are left to go out and try and score AM wins as much as possible. All
right, well, you're doing a good job so far, Drew. Thanks for talking with us. We're going to head to break, give you some highlights from last week. Thank you very much, Drew.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to jump here first.
Round 5 of the SCRS Ferrari GT3 Championship took place at the Nürburgring circuit in Germany. Richardson led the field to green, and other than a few bumps and scrapes, all cars made it through turn 1. The running order maintained until Crum made a pass on Mimi for second. Many drivers struggled for grip and spun off the track, such as Brian Song, Spencer Kemble, Andrew Mickey, Ray Huang, Ryan McPhail, Jimmy Fisher, Dan Garber, Christian Ost, and notably Elliot Mimi would spin out coming to 2 to go, dropping from 3rd place. Mickey and Huang would collide, sending Huang into the wall. At the end of the race, Richardson would take home first with a 4-second lead over Crum and Gakuja in 3rd. Steve Ficacci would notably finish 4th in his first race. D'Angelo would hold off Lidke to take home the AM win and 5th place. Race 2 began with Huang and Fisher up front, leading the field 3 wide into turn 1. Huang, who was out to an early lead, and Lidke would end up sideways in the same turn, losing a bunch of spots. However, they would gain a lot of those spots back as McPhail got loose coming out of the chicane and spun into D'Angelo, getting into the double zero of Steve Ficacci and current points leader Justin Richardson involved. Richardson would retire in last place. Meanwhile, up front, Mimi would make a daring move on Fisher to take the lead, and Chris Hudson would make a pass on Garber for 2nd place. Gakuja would make a pass on Ost for 5th place, but would collide with Ost, causing him to be disqualified for too many incidents. Jewel and Hudson were racing for 2nd place until Jewel made a mistake under braking, causing him and Hudson to collide, with Hudson being disqualified for too many incidents. Crum and Gakuja would fight it out for 3rd until Gakuja made an error in the hairpin, surrendering 3rd place to Crum. Crum and Son would get into a brief battle before Son gave up 2nd to Crum. With a 14.6 second lead, Mimi would take home his first win of the season and would close his points deficit to Richardson. Crum would come home in 2nd, giving him 2 second place finishes for today. so I'm going to take the AM win, finishing 3rd, closing his gap to D'Angelo in the points.
And welcome back to race number 2 in the 2018 Ferrari GT3 Challenge for SCRS. A little bit of technical difficulties from multiple parties in getting the second race up. The server had some issues, and I think we're all figured out now. Elliot Mimi was having some technical difficulties, so I don't know if he's going to make the grid for this. So we're going to be down to 13 entries for this, unfortunately. But we have 28 seconds remaining in this practice, this pre-race warm-up. We're going to invert the field, and we're going to start them for 20 minutes at Motegi. Just want to note that Richison's warm-up lap here was a couple tenths faster than his lap in the race last time. So he is even faster now than he was in the previous race. So Richison, again, going to be flying through the field. We'll keep an eye on him, certainly, as we move through.
Oh, Mimi connected.
Hey, Mimi got in, yes. Now, will he make the grid?
I think he should. He should have 2 minutes to grid, so he'll just make it, hopefully.
It's going to be close, for sure. Obviously, this is big news for Mimi if he can't get in here because of the point standings. Alright, well, we only have 40 seconds to grid now, so we are going to be running low on time for Mimi to load in. He might, at the very least, he can get in into the pits. Is he on track? Do we see him on the course?
I'm looking. I don't see him. He's got 20 seconds to try to make it on the grid, so...
But at the very least, he'll be in the race, so he can start from the pits and at least make points, which is good. Otherwise, he wouldn't get anything. So hopefully Mimi can get in the race, and we're gonna.
Yep, I think. Yep, that's him.
He's in. Hey.
Wow. That's a...
All right, and the green flag is going to fly. The engines rev for race number 2. 20 minutes. Green flag is in the air, and they scatter all over the front straightaway as we head down into turn 1. Cars everywhere, 2, 3 wide. The Team TrackSculptures.com machines in the back, spreading out. There's Kurt Crum in all of that mess. Three wide. Brian Sohn is in that mess. Drew Lidke's in there. Oh!
Massive checkup, I see, guys.
Big checkup. Looks like one of those drivers was Richison. And Andrew Mickey off to a decent start, holding that second place. Christian Ost is going to jump out to an early lead. Elliot Mimi, after all that excitement, is going to hold on to 4th, but McPhail is on the attack, looking to get that spot back.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he'll be able to do it. Yeah, Mimi off to a great start, definitely what he needed, and it's really great to see him on the grid because that would be really unfortunate if he didn't make it on.
He almost didn't make it, but he did, and he's racing 4th place for the number 9. Steve Ficacci is currently 11th, Justin Richison in 12th, so that early advancing we were expecting to see, maybe not quite as quick, but I think Richison and these other drivers just trying to stay out of trouble. As you see, is that behind Richison there, that's DeCousier in the 39 that almost got into him there. Kurt Crum is now side by side with the 00 of Ficacci. These drivers were battling hard in race number 1 as they make their way down the backstretch. Side by side, Richison's going to look to the inside, but is he going to think better of it? He's going to tuck back in behind them.
Well, he's going to look on the outside of Ficacci, and let's see if he can make this work.
Whoa, a power move around the outside of Ficacci. It looks like he's going to make that position stick as they head through the chicane in the final corner. What a move by the number 1 of Richison. The Team TrackSculptures.com machines right nose to tail. Whoa, got one of them going sideways there. That's the 33 of Garber.
Oh, I hear you some carnage up ahead.
That looks like everybody made it through. Maybe a little bit of contact, but everyone still going and pointed in the right direction. Although Lidke fell back. Oh, is still falling back a little bit. Richison is now on the attack for Lidke.
Whoa, Crum getting sideways.
Crum!
Oh.
Crum goes around. Just got a little bit loose there. Got in that corner a little bit hot and just got out from underneath him. GT3 cars can sometimes be like tops when they get sideways, and he's going to lose a bunch of spots.
Good job on Richardson avoiding that. That could have really ended up bad if he got into Crum.
Yeah, that's what as he was mentioning in his interview earlier, a lot of the incidents he's been involved in weren't his fault, and that certainly wouldn't have been, but he did a great job avoiding that. Liam Park going to jump up to the 5th. Lots of action here in the midfield. Brian
Ford might have gone off track.
Brian Sohn, George D'Angelo, Ryan Plord. Liam Park, just a gaggle of cars working the far side of the course right now. Liam Park on the outside of Brian Sohn. That was really tight between those two heading down the back straight. Liam Park's going to try to outbrake him getting into the corner. Sohn on the outside line, but he's going to have a good run coming off of here and should be able to clear the 14 of Liam Park, as he does.
Yeah, here comes, look at D'Angelo in behind. He's going to try to make something out of this.
Oh, look at Richardson right on the corner panel of Lidke.
He's trying to maximize that draft.
Oh, he's going to send it in really deep. Hopefully he doesn't get into him here. And it keeps it clean. Oh, Brian Sohn's around. Brian Sohn goes for a spin.
Yeah, see, he's good. He's going to get it back going, and he is a buddy with Gert Crum.
Well, he's got someone to race now, as we've had quite a lot of shifting going on there between Richardson.
Oh, Lidke just went off the track.
Lidke gone for a loop as well.
Oh,
D'Angelo on the attack for the 14 of Liam Park to the inside.
Seems like he's going to make it work.
Going to give each other plenty of room going down the back straight. One of the several back straights here. And Richardson is looking at this gaggle and says, yes, fight! I'm coming for you guys. And here he comes right behind the 74 of Plord. And he is just sizing up this big group of cars.
Yeah, but when you're Richardson, you're looking at this, you're also trying to hope that nothing goes wrong, because with 3 cars in this close of proximity, it's almost asking for trouble.
Yeah, let's just hang out with this on board for a second and try to watch him pick his way through this mess.
Ooh.
Oh, Plord, wow! That was an inch or less between those drivers. Oh, Plord's going to drive in a little bit. Oh, through the grass. Look out!
Good
Carnage. Liam Park's going to go for a ride through the grass and get some pretty significant damage and all of that.
Nice calling him to let off the gas and not aggress on that situation, but he lost 2 spots to his 2 rivals, Pikashi and Decuja.
Yeah, Decuja has made up a lot of ground from the beginning of the race and has moved into 5th. Or, excuse me, 7th. But Richardson backed out of that again, avoiding a wreck that could have taken him out. So good job for Richardson to keep his nose out of that. But yeah, I saw McPhail get off in the grass there, just got loose under braking, and when he went through the grass, I knew that was going to end badly. But Liam Park was already out of shape from contact from another driver before McPhail even got back on the course. So lots of racing action right now. Race 2 is always exciting. There's George D'Angelo right now. Out up front, you're not missing a thing. Christian Ost and Elliot Meany leading. Andrew Mickey is now 3rd. Decuja's going to take a look to the inside of D'Angelo. Not quite going to be able to get there. Got to establish yourself in the braking zone before you can try to make a move on somebody.
And as you say that, Richardson established himself in his now round. So
Richardson moves up to 7th. He's going to set his sights. He's going to set his sights on D'Angelo, I believe. Yep.
And you see a certain car is also trying to get himself back in the fight. Lidke is moving himself up, and Crum is following him as well.
Yeah, Lidke just trying to keep himself out of trouble. Lots of action on the course, and you got to keep your car clean to make it to the end of this one. Richardson's going to move up to 6th now, to the inside of George D'Angelo. Now he's got Steve Ficacci to look forward to.
But D'Angelo isn't giving it up. He's got a run, and he's got the next corner. He's got the preferred line.
Down to the inside, D'Angelo's going to drive it in deep. They're going to make it stick side by side. Richardson going to be able to clear him here? Yes, he does.
Oh, wow. By like a hair. Does D'Angelo try to fight it in?
Oh,
he does, but it's
not quite
successful.
Richardson gave him room, but D'Angelo couldn't quite get the nose in there, so Richardson moved him up to 6th.
And looks like Decuja will follow suit.
Another note: the 74 of Plord is off track at the moment. I believe he is out with crash damage. So move him down to 14th. So Richardson is up to 6th, but he has a really big gap, 14 seconds to the leader.
Yeah, let's get an update with our leaders, because we've a lot has changed up in the front. Ost is up to 1st.
Yeah, but it's a 2.5 second gap, and it really hasn't been coming down like I thought. Although Mimi did run a faster lap by about half a second that last time by, which should be enough time to get.
Oh no, Ost! Oh, just as we're talking about him, he spun off the track.
What a shame. And he flashes the headlights in frustration. See Andrew Mickey flashing his lights as well. He was saying before that he had his Discord button mapped to his headlight flash. It's a little inconvenient, but yeah, we were just talking about Ost. All he had to do was run clean laps and just spun it out with the pressure of Mimi closing.
Yeah, but at least he didn't wreck it out, so he's fallen back to second place, but it is still second place, so he's got a hold of Mickey and McPhail behind him. As we can see the rest of the field trying to catch up to these guys in the front.
I had to correct myself a couple laps ago. I said it was McPhail that went off course and got into Liam Park and the other driver. That was Ryan Ford in the 74, not McPhail's. Excuse me there. McPhail's been up front the whole time, keeping himself out of trouble. But Mimi now has about a 4-second lead over the 157 of Ost. Andrew Mickey hanging on to that third spot. A good race for him so far.
Yeah, solid day, although McPhail's trying to take that podium spot away from him, so see if McPhail can make a move coming down the next straight. We'll go on board with him.
Lots of exciting action all over this track in Motegi, Japan right now. Almost halfway through this one, 11 minutes remaining. One driver retired right now, that's the 74 Ford.
One battle that's heating up on the track. Crum looking on the inside of Lidke.
Oh, that's tight, getting into the braking zone. They're going to try to... Oh, they almost went 3 wide going into the corner. Crum's going to back out. He sees brake rotors glowing. Those carbon ceramic brakes get really hot. They like working in that temperature region, but at night they glow a bright orange, and they're really cool to watch. But Crum backed out and lost a little bit of ground, and looks like McPhail's going to go around Mickey for the third spot.
Yeah, let's see if Mickey has anything to answer for that. Oh, it definitely looks like he does.
He's going to have a little bit of a draft going down this straightaway here. He's going to look to the inside. Under the braking zone. He looks like he's going to get him, but oh, that was close. Got to watch that contact there. It didn't look like there was any. I see some smoke. Maybe some dirt kicked up by one of the drivers in front. God, it's got to just be dirt. But this battle between McPhail and Mickey is just heating up as much as the brakes.
I think I know where the dirt came from. As you can see, Ost is a lot more in Mimi's mirrors, so I think he might have had a little off-track excursion there.
Richardson moves up to P5.
Happens to...
Oh, Fakachi's around.
Oh, that is really...
Oh, that was really close. Oh, he almost caught Brian Sohn in there, and he has some pretty significant damage. Let's see if we can get a replay of that real quick. That was a really, really sketchy rejoin there, but we're back in... So here's Fakachi. Grass claimed another victim, and ooh, that bridge, that concrete wall, and this is sketchy here when he pulls back onto the course. Got to check that relative, make sure there's nobody coming. That was a close call for Brian Sohn in the 0-3.
Yeah, tough break for Fakachi. He was running really well, and just end up in the wall like that. That's really unfortunate for him. Yeah,
pretty decent damage to the rear wing of that, which is going to reduce his downforce. But up front, Mimi, Ost, McPhail, and Mickey, and Richardson is going to be your top 5. Takuja is 6th, Lidke 7th, Crum, D'Angelo, Garber, Sohn, Fakachi, and Park are your current running order at this time. And Richardson is closing in on a battle between Mickey and McPhail. I'm going to go on board with the number 1 positive sim racing Ferrari of Justin Richardson. Going to just jump out of line just to make sure he's out of the mirror of the 86, and it's going to... That's always scary as the lead driver when the driver behind you disappears in the mirror. It's just a tactic to get the driver not paying attention. It looks like the one's going to go off track there a little bit. And he's going to look to the inside, and I don't think Mickey's going to contest this too much. Richardson's going to move up to 4th. Those brake rotors glowing hot.
Oh, I think Mickey's going to contest it all right. He's going to take it around the outside again.
I stand corrected. Mickey holds onto that spot with the run on the outside, the momentum keeping him rolling. But Richardson is still on the attack, and if he wants to... Oh, man, dropping another wheel.
Yeah, bailed out of that corner. Looks like he's going to end up...
Oh, Garber. Oh, no, Garber again. Maybe we can see what happened to him. Garber again caught up in a wreck in race 1 and had to retire, and it looks like it's going to be that for race 2 as well. Let's see if we can get a replay here of what happened.
Something tells me there's a bit of grass involved.
Yep, again. And this is going to be a hard hit. Oh my goodness, that was a hard impact. Hope he's okay after that one. Yeah, Garber definitely going to be hurting. Grass claims another victim. And he's going to be limping that one home.
Yeah, unfortunate for him ending, looking like he's going to end the day in 12th place.
That's if everyone else keeps it on the course. And Richardson is going to take over the 4th spot from Mickey. That pass was completed while we were doing the replay. So Mickey is going to finally give that spot up. And Mickey is now under attack from Jonathan DeCouger in the 39.
Yeah, it seems like DeCouger's trying to see where he can plan out his moves. He really doesn't want Richardson to get too far out ahead of him because he also wants to try to get around him.
All those DeCouger and Richardson are pro drivers, but they're all chasing Elliot Mimi, who's moved up to the pro class a few weeks ago and is making a great showing for those pro drivers out up front. But Christian Ost currently leading the AM battle. AM drivers right now are the 157, the 867, the 86, the 21, and the 8. That's going to be your top several AM drivers. Your lowest running pro at this time would be the 00 Fikachi. Obviously, we saw him spin out earlier. I think that those TeamTrackSculptures.com machines have, one of them's got bronze wheels. I think DeCouger's got bronze wheels, I think. I'm not sure if they're going to show up real well at night. Gold or bronze, that's a pretty cool look. That's pretty cool looking for those guys.
Gets my approval.
About 5.5 minutes remaining. Mimi still out in front by 2.2 seconds over Christian Ost. Justin Richardson closing in for that 3rd spot now. So he successfully made it up to the front without too much carnage. A couple off tracks here and there, but no harm, no foul for those. Dan Garber has pulled it in and retired. Not surprised there. That was a pretty hard impact he took.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate to see him retired out of both races. And I see a car in the back.
Mickey, that's Mickey, the 86,
and
keeps it off the wall though. I don't think he hit it.
Yep, and the grass is seeming to be out for blood today.
Yep, it's claimed, I think, at least 6 drivers at this point. Some of them multiple times. So the grass definitely, as we were talking about earlier, Finney, and the curbing here not quite as wide as maybe we're used to, and there's no concrete past the runoff area.
Oh.
Whoop, we have a lead change. Elliot Mimi, we got to get a replay of that, see what happened to Mimi. Hopefully we can find out what happened. Yeah, that should do it there. Man, a lot of spins by the leaders today.
How much money do you want to bet there's a bit of off-track involved in this?
I'll put everything in my bank account, which isn't very much, mind you. But I'll bet that he dropped a wheel here. Maybe I shouldn't have bet that.
You're bankrupt now.
Whoa! That, at least he got himself out of the way. But, yeah, Mimi's going to drop down to 2nd. But that's one of the bonuses of having such a big lead, is that he's still maintaining 2nd. But he's right. Oh, gosh, Vinny.
This is going to be a fight.
I think Richardson smells blood.
He does, too, and I think Mimi does as well. Because these guys, all 3 of them have some decent pace. I would say Ost is the slowest of them, being an AM driver, but he's shown that he could keep up with Mimi there.
But looking at the lap times, Richardson is ripping him out right now. Also, looks like Mickey is in the pits, and as well as D'Angelo, but Richardson is going to peek out. And we don't have time to jump back and see what happened to those guys, but I think we'll find that at the end of the broadcast for you. But Richardson smells blood, and he's going to try to take advantage of the number 9. He's got a couple laps left to do it.
He's got 2 laps to do it, and we've got, I would say, a 3-way fight for first place, so this is going to be one to watch.
Working their way again down the front straight past the pits. That contains 3 cars that are, or looks like 4 cars now, that are off track and no longer competing. But Richardson has 2 laps to get by these 2 drivers. Down to the inside of Mimi. Oh, there's going to be contact
and
there.
Mimi goes around again.
Oh.
Just driving really hard, and everyone gets around him.
Oh, was that a DQ, you think?
I don't think so. I think that was a give up on him. I think he's just really frustrated.
Yeah, that was interesting. We'll have to take a look at it, because I'm not really sure if Mimi left enough room there or not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he did, but we'll have to take a look at that, because that certainly was unfortunate to see. And Richardson's going to have 1.6 seconds to make up. Based on lap times, and based on last lap, he's got plenty of time to get there. But I guess we'll have to watch this one. I don't want to call it too soon.
No, I don't want to call it. Yeah, we really shouldn't call it too soon because Host was kind of was denied the win at Watkins Glen. He got really close to it, but just couldn't get it. And he right here, we're coming to the white flag right now, and I think he really wants a win. So I think he's gonna give Richardson a run for his money on this final lap.
I think we're going to see a lot of defensive driving here by the 157 of Ost, and we're coming to the end of the course here, this final chicane. The gap is 0.6 of a second. Out of the final corner, 1 lap to go. That gap is now less than 0.4 of a second. Richardson's going to have a big head of steam coming down the front straight. Lap traffic up ahead of, I believe that's a 33 of Garber, but he shouldn't be too much of an issue. I think he'll probably move out of the way when he sees this battle forming up. Finian, the 157 is going to have to make his car as wide as he possibly can here.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna. As Richardson had a great run, and let's see, he's gonna defend the outside.
Oh, he's gonna give him the inside line. Oh, that's a little close there, but Richardson, I don't quite understand that. He just kind of gave Richardson the line. I guess he's thinking bigger picture because he's not really in the points battle with him.
I guess not. No, I thought he would put up a bigger opposition too. So.
Yeah, that was. I think he's really thinking bigger picture. The next AM driver is Drew Lidke in 4th, who's come up quite a ways. So good job for Drew. But DeCouger has moved up to 3rd. So you can see the running order on the left-hand side of your screen. Lots of action in this one again. McPhail is still 5th. Crum, Brian Sohn, Steve Ficacci, and Liam Park, and Elliot Mimi your top 10. Unfortunately, Mimi out either with a DQ or just quitting after another frustrating incident for him. Just lots of bad luck and bad circumstances leading to that. But here's a battle still with Kurt Crum and Ryan McPhail. This is for the 5th spot, and it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, Crum's really going to want that spot back. Try to move up and get a top 5 finish out of this.
Richardson has gone last to 1st. Great job by Justin. We have a questionable incident that we have to look over after the race to review exactly what happened between him and Mimi. Those guys are in a points battle, and there was a little bit of argy-bargy out there, so we'll have to take a look at that. But Richardson, as he runs a little bit wide there off the final corner, is going to take home and sweep Motegi here in Japan. Christian Ost is going to run home a respectable 2nd place and win the AM battle. Jonathan DeCouger and Drew Lidke 3rd, 4th, and Ryan McPhail 5th. Kurt Crum is going to hang on to 6th. Brian Sohn going to bring it home with the Penguin RC Simulations machine in 7th. Steve Ficacci behind him in 8th. And Liam Park is the last driver running on the racetrack. Little bit of incidents for everybody today, Finney, and lots of carnage out there. Lots of self-spins and maybe some more action that we missed that we'll have to get to post-race and next week in the highlights reel, Finian. But again, a great race, very action-packed. Richardson taking home yet another victory. I would like to go back. We're going to jump to commercial real quick. We're going to try to go back and get a replay of the incident between him and Mimi and see if we can get a better angle before we pull him in for an interview. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. We're taking a look at the incident between Justin Richardson and Elliot Mimi, and we were talking over break here. It doesn't look like there was any contact, Finian, but potentially some net code. We're going to have to get an interview from both sides of these drivers because it's very possible that Mimi just got in there too hot. But, you know, the move from Richardson was a little bit late. So if there was net code, we would put the blame there on Richardson, but we have to, again, talk to both sides here and figure out exactly what happened. So we're going to get an interview shortly with your winner, Justin Richardson. We'll try to get Austin here as well as Mimi to talk about that incident. So we'll be right back again once we gather those guys for the interviews, and we'll be right back.
What a race, huh?
Yeah. All right, welcome back. Your race 2 winner sweeps Motegi, Justin Richardson. Justin, you came from last to first to win that one, but I think everyone's wondering that that contact between you and Mimi, was there contact? Because on our end, it looked like there was a little bit of a gap. So tell us what happened there.
Definitely, that's what we were just talking about in the other room. There's a good feet to 1 or 2 feet from us. I knew if I got next to him, I could have the inside line because from practice, I realized that if you brake too late into that corner, you spin it as he did the lap before. So he should have known, or he probably would have known that braking later, but the competitiveness in us, you just want to brake later than the next guy when you're next to him. That's what he did and looked like he got away from him.
All right, so it looks like there wasn't any contact. We're going to talk to Mimi after and get that side of the story as well. But Justin, doesn't overshadow the fact that you came from last to first and just absolutely just killed everybody here. Lots of action up front, lots of spins, lots of contact that aided your move up to the front. But again, just beating those guys just purely on raw pace. Again, you're going to come home with the race number 2 Penguin RC Simulation Fastest Lap Award. So congratulations there.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so that was
definitely had X's in this race. So
yeah,
even out.
A 147.663 was your best time. So congrats there. From your perspective, you know, working right through the carnage, did you have any moments of restraint where you said, I got to back out of this and keep myself out of trouble?
Well, I sent it in the server, but I want to say it on the air that I apologize to Lidkey. I don't know what lap it was, probably 2 or 3. I did tap him, and I'm the reason he spun, so I apologize to him. I didn't think he was going to – I braked hard, but he kind of – I don't know if he let off or braked, did a little tap on the brake after he let off, but it caught me off, and I was too close, and I tapped him. So that was all on me.
All right.
Other than that, I don't – oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Other than that, I didn't. I would say that the scariest moment is D'Angelo. I've encountered him a couple times now, and the wanting to race me is not a problem. It's more of he's choosing odd lines and then coming back at you. That's kind of scary, and it caught a few guys off. I know that it's kind of that's what creates the bottlenecking and everything when somebody's off on different lines, and then everyone ends up spinning. He could probably stay on his lines more. I think it would prevent a lot more accidents either into him or around him. With Andrew, it was much more fun because he's holding his line. He's on normal lines, and it's my job to go around him if I want to pass him. So other than that, I think I had an okay run.
All right. Well, congratulations again, and good luck moving on to these next couple weeks. We're going to head right back to break. We're going to get some other guys in here. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with the driver of the number 157, Christian. Congratulations on the AM class victory. Lots of action up there, a spin, some more action between you and Elliot Mimi. What was it like from the driver's seat of the 157 tonight?
Nerve-wracking. I practiced a lot for this track, so I'm really confident in it. And race one, I seem to have a consistent problem of just completely screwing race number one and then doing okay race number two. So I need to fix that. But as far as that, we kind of another situation of I knew I was going to be able to kind of get out in front of the slower drivers and pull away as fast as I could. But I think I just looked at my rearview mirror one too many times and got myself into a couple situations where I'm like, well, there we go.
All right. One of the things we were mentioning on the broadcast was it seemed like a lot of drivers were dropping wheels off over the curbing and basically spinning out because of the accelerating on the grass. Was that what caught you out? I can't remember if we saw that on the replay or not.
I think what ended up happening with Mem was something like that. I got sideways and he got around. It was fairly easy. Yeah, I was coming out of turn 2. I got sideways like that. I was tried to brake while cornering, and that caused the car to oversteer, and round I went, and he took over. So that's what ended up happening that round. And then I know the last lap I had I forgot even who was on my tail at that point, and he had a better run on me coming out of turn 2, and just kind of let him have it because I knew he was in the pro class. Just let him run with it.
Yeah, so good points day for you, Christian. Congratulations on the AM victory.
Thanks.
Your lap times were right up there with the good guys, so you did a great job this evening. So keep your head high, and we're going to move on to the next couple weeks. And we got a lot of drivers telling us they're not going to be back next week for other reasons. So you're going to be here next week, right?
I believe so.
All right, so you're going to be making some good points next week with a lot of drivers missing.
Hopefully so.
So
gotta catch up to my teammate.
Yeah. All right, but it should be good. Some good fun. Congratulations again. We're gonna jump back to break real quick. Be right back with some finishing remarks. Thanks a lot, Christian.
Thank you.
All right, we're back for the finishing remarks here at Motegi here in Japan from SimTV. I'm Kyle Heyer with Finian Takuna. Finian, the finishing orders there on the left. Lots of carnage, lots of storylines heading next week into Laguna Seca. Should be a good race there. A challenging course in Monterey, California. So that'll be coming up in a week or so. And Finian, the action in race 2 has continued to be some pretty fantastic stuff, but not without the carnage and the storylines of car contact. And maybe some hurt feelings over this one.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of these guys are just giving it their all, and their all is almost a little bit too much at times. You get the occasional off track, but here it's a lot worse because of the grass runoff that's here, and it just gets the car turned around. And a lot of these guys just driving a bit too hard into corners, and then the car gets away from them. So it's definitely great to see them, these guys just pushing it to their limit, but it sucks seeing the limit taking them.
All right, we'll be back for round 7 at Laguna Seca, the next round we have, and we'll be back next week. Thank you very much from SimTV. I'm Kyle Heyer with Vinny Nakuna. We'll see ya.